going on, YouTube? My name's Josh Nelson, and I've teamed up here with Beyond the Beat to bring you this series of instructional guitar videos. Now, these videos are going to be spanning mostly songs in the genres of rock and metal. However, we might venture into some other genres later. As you probably figured from the first 4 minutes of this video, as well as the video title, today we're going to be learning a song off of Waking the Fallen, Avenged Sevenfold's second studio album, and it's called Unholy Confessions. Now, before we get into the song, we have to go over the guitar's tuning, because it's not in standard tuning. It's in standard Avenged Sevenfold tuning, if you will, which is drop D. And what drop D means is that the guitar's low E string is going to be tuned down a whole step, and thus making it a D. So now your strings will read D, A, D, G, B, E, because you leave the top 5 untouched for drop D tuning. Now, what that allows you to do is that allows you to bar power chords on the lowest string. So as opposed to playing with your first and third finger, you just bar it with one finger, and it sounds something like this. Alright, now that we've got the tuning out of the way, let's get started. So we're going to be starting up by the 5th fret and then quickly thereafter moving to the 7th fret. We're going to be doing a pattern that is switching between palm muting on an open D note. And palm muting is just resting your palm on the string while you play it. So as opposed to this, you get, which is very metal, of course. And so the opening lick goes a little like this. You're going to hit the first two notes, your first two notes are going to be the low D, which is, and then you're going to go up the A string into a pattern that looks like this. Now this riff repeats itself a few times before it breaks out into the verse, which is where, in my opinion, comes the hardest part of the song. There's this crazy little octave lick that Sin plays and that Zaki plays on this song, and it's just wild. So we're going to be starting for this octave lick up on the A string's 10th fret. And then you're going to skip over your D string, not the low D string, but the one after the A, higher in pitch, of course. And you're going to also have your third finger on the 12th fret of your G string. And that gives you an octave, which is essentially the same note, but one is 8 pitches or 8 tones above, 8 tones above the other note. And it sounds like this. Now the riff itself is pretty crazy, so it goes like this. Now it's pretty daunting to play when you're going fast, and it's definitely gonna work the calluses in your fingers, but that's always a good thing. And the entire riff as it goes on after that, so you have, so that's the first half of the lick. The second half of the lick tackles even more octaves, and you have to go up to the 15th fret, which means your third finger's on the 17th fret. And you're going to be descending down and then up right at the end before hitting a power chord with some palm mutes on the 8th fret and then the 10th fret, and then from there the first octave pattern that we looked at comes back, and then the whole thing loops. So slowly it sounds like this. Now this octave lick goes into a small kind of interlude or counterpart to it before bringing it back. So we won't go over the octave part again, but I'll just go over the part that comes directly after it before, of course, getting back into the same lick. So that part will start down on the 5th fret of the A string, and so we're going to be hitting this chord again. And then we're going to be going down after hitting our open D and playing a riff with chords. So we're going to be using the open D. We're going to be using frets 2 and 3, and then we're going to hit a power chord on the 1st fret of our A string. And then we're going to move up to the 3rd. And there's going to be some chugging along the way, so I'll just play it slowly for you so that you can understand how to play this. And of course, that's where the lick goes back into the octave lick, which is the, and so forth. So after this octave section and its interlude section, we have a pretty easy part, thank goodness. It's simply just chugging on the low D string, palm muted of course, and slowly it sounds like this. It's very simple. It'll help you build your speed for your alternate picking. It's great. So following that little chugging part, we're coming into the pre-chorus, which in this case is kind of like a play or a counter to the opening riff. It's very similar. It's kind of like a nice, another little hopping pattern. It's going to be up on the 7th and 8th fret at first, and you're going to be going down towards the 5th and 4th fret, to which we're going to go over some pinch harmonics too, because there's a pinch harmonic on 2 of the 4th fret hits. So slowly, it sounds like this. Now, don't be too worried about the pinch harmonics. It's going to take some practice. You have to kind of find the spots because it's different per what fret you're hitting and trying to get the pinch harmonic on. So the way it works is the higher the fret, the higher up your picking hand is going to be to hit the pinch harmonic. And the way you do that for hitting the pinch harmonic is you roll your thumb so that it touches the string directly after you pick it. And you have to be muting the rest of the strings for it to even come out. So don't worry if you're not getting it right away. It's normal. It takes practice. Everyone has to practice their pinch harmonics. They want to be able to have them ring out like that. Alright, now let's get into the chorus. So the chorus is mostly power chords. We're going to be starting again up at the 5th fret, and we're going to be working our way down with a couple melodic interlude lines in between some of the power chords. And slowly it sounds like this. So this chorus essentially loops over and over up until it ends. It's a pretty long chorus in this song, so you're going to be playing those licks and those riffs quite a bit. And then coming out of that section, we have this nice little guitar interlude piece. We're going to be starting up again on the 7th fret and the 5th fret You're going to be pulling off and doing a couple of things, but it's just a bunch of long sustained notes. The only difficult part really about this interlude section is there's a bit of a stretch here when you get down to the A string, at least if you're new or if you have like small hands or any of the above. It can be a little troublesome at first, so don't worry about it. Practice stretching your hand, get some finger width going, some wingspan, and the riff slowly sounds like this. So right after the interlude portion, as well as the reintroduction of the intro phrase as the verse phrase now, we go into this part with some heavy chugging, just open D and open A palm muted, just all on the downbeats, as well as right after that, this really cool chromatic chord progression that goes down the neck of the guitar. I'll play it really slowly. It's nothing too crazy, it's not a lot to handle. So here we go. And then following that, we go back into the lick with the pinch harmonic in it that we covered before. So we won't go over it again, but we'll go over one more new lick that comes into play just before the last chorus and then plays as the outro as well. And so that lick, there's a lot of bending in it, and so it's a little tricky at first. Once you kind of get an ear for what's going on and where you're supposed to be bending to, it becomes a little easier, which of course comes with time and practice. But you're going to be doing a lot of open D and then coming onto a note from the open D and then descending down the neck. So we're going to be starting up at the 11th fret and we're going to go down 10, 8, 7, 5. So the riff sounds like this, or before going into some chords of course, and the riff sounds like this slowly. And that's it. That's the song. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning Unholy Confessions with me. If you did, be sure to leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification button. We upload weekly content with multiple instructors on multiple different topics every week. I'll be here every week, so I'll be sure to see you guys next week as well. And if you want to see me, or more of me and what I'm doing aside from this stuff, be sure to check out my Instagram, which I'll link in the description. Thanks so much. See you guys next time.